Hey there, toy fans, and welcome back to Richard's Toy Room once again. Well, today we are revisiting, in a sort of manner of speaking, about 3 years ago, if I remember right, I did a short video on upcoming projects. Now, at the time, all my stuff was in storage because I was between houses, living in apartments. So I was still buying things. So this was one of the things that I bought in that interim period, and I had intended on tackling it long before this, but I still haven't got all the pieces that I'm missing for the horse. Now, this box has somehow survived. It's a little worse for the wear, but it's still about 95% intact. So what we're missing is part of this upper flap that goes up to about here, and it mimics the part over here. And then we're missing the flap that goes across here, which mimics the one down here. And, little bits and pieces. So I'm not really going to restore it, so to speak, more like conserve it. So I got to get like all these pieces of tape off as best I can. I think I can get most of it off. Obviously this is the part that you're going to want to look at. I need to flatten it a little bit, so I'm going to have to like iron it or some sort of press. I've got to glue little pieces back down, and then obviously recreate the missing hard parts. This shouldn't be too hard because this is basically the exact same flap is down here, so I'll just scan this here and overlap it onto here as I recreate the missing portions. Probably the hardest part will be to make these where they hinged so they look decent when it's all put back together. Like, I'm not going to like go in and paint in parts where the color is flaked off and stuff like that. I'm just going to make it look decent enough to put on display, as an intact, glued back together box. So that's the intent of this. It's better than tossing it in the garbage and then it's lost to history. It's perfectly savable. So what I'm going to end up doing is the best that I have handy is basically this. This is from the dollar store. It's like you can get that construction paper. It just happens to be real close to the thickness of the original cardboard. It's not quite, but it'll do. And you're not going to see it anyway. It's mostly for integrity purposes. And it's starting to get kind of spots and pieces, dirt on it and stuff. So I'm just going to go to the dollar store and pick up some more, and I'll just use this one for construction purposes. So the first thing we have to do is get the tape off of here. Now, some of it, since it's masking tape and it's been on there for decades, it's basically just the glue is dried and it's kind of just coming off by itself and leaving the dried glue, which you can see as I'm just gently pulling up on it. But you don't really want to take a chance on some of it maybe having still some stickiness on there, and it'll pull the cardboard up with it, and then you're screwed. So on masking tape like this, probably the best thing may be like a hair dryer, and then I have to get the residue off. Now, sometimes lighter fluid will take that off. I'm not 100% sure, and we'll just have to experiment a little bit. So I guess we'll go get a hair dryer and see if we can get this some of this tape off a little easier than it's coming off. And after we do that, then we have to start gluing these little pieces down. We basically use Elmer's wood glue or something equivalent to that. Then we have to recreate the missing pieces. So let's get the tape off first. Yeah, I think that was all the pieces that were left on there. I did get a couple off earlier. Now, let's see if we can get some of this residual adhesive off of here. Don't worry, it's not blood, it's dye from another project. Well, here we are back after me going through some attempts here. I'll be honest and say nothing really worked. The best solution I came up with to get most of it off was basically just to use some lighter fluid. Well, first I heated up some of them with the hair dryer. That kind of like, I don't know, didn't really reactivate the glue, but I think it made it a little easier to get it off. Then I used some lighter fluid, and then I basically just lightly used my thumb, not my thumb, but my thumbnail, just kind of hear that noise, just kind of go like that, and then you can hear how it sounds a little different on where the glue is. Well, that would like pick off like the surface. I got a lot of it off like that. I mean, enough where it was like presentable. I did look up online, and they, at least a couple of sites I found, they called up for some, stuff I don't have, and I have no desire to go and purchase. And I'm not even sure if it would work anyway. It's probably expensive stuff. I'm sure stuff they use at like book conservatories and stuff like that. Anyway, I think it's good enough. You're never going to get like these stains off where the acid from the masking tape kind of darkened the cardboard. But I did get a lot of like the surface glue that was remaining from the back of the tape off. So that was my main concern, was getting most of that off. I would have liked to get it off of here, like where it kind of really you could see where it was, but I tried with the wet paper towel, and it almost, I would say almost made it worse, because when it dampened the paper, it started taking off some of the top layers of the color, and this is on the bottom of the box. It'll be sitting like, so you won't see this at all. That's why I practiced on this first. But anyway, like I said, luckily there wasn't much on the front part, which is the main part you're going to see anyway. So I'm not overly concerned with what's left on it. But so the next step is to start fixing all the little pieces that are coming apart, gluing all these little flakes that are coming up to keep it from getting any worse. So as you can see, I've printed out or scanned and copied this other flap here, and here's the piece that's torn, overlapping the printed copy. So basically we will glue this to this white paper and cut out a piece that will match up to fit the missing section. Simple as that. Okay, so here's where we are right now. So I've made this piece here to overlap this. Now I feel that the best way to reinforce the box top here was to make a whole new flap that would basically go here. I'm gonna actually go under here, and this is well, actually that's torn, so I can probably slide it in there for now. So basically this is going to sit like this, with that little flap will be glued on the inside of the box, and then this will be glued on top of this to reinforce this. It'll be like the new hinge, so to speak. And then to make up the difference in the thickness between here and here, so I can overlay that, I just cut out a little comic piece of a comic backing board like that, and then I will just glue this over the top like this. I'll just do the whole blue section so it looks even, you know, and not like split. This you won't see because it'll go inside the box when it folds and goes together. Same with like that. This will be the top of the box. And so basically that's where we're sitting right now. I still have to make the other flap that's missing, and we're going to use this stuff, it's Krylon spray adhesive, to glue all these pieces together and to glue them to the box. I think, I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to use this to glue this to the box and the hinge. I may use the wood glue. Haven't decided yet. Let's see how good this sticks on here first with all this. And then when I do get this part done here, as you notice, the box kind of has a little sheen to it. So I'm going to take some clear glossy spray paint and just kind of give this like a gloss coat, so it sort of doesn't stand out so much as a printed piece of paper. Okay, so I've got the flap completed, ready to attach to the box here. I think it came out pretty good. Not perfect, but you know, I mean, look at the box. Anything's better than the way it looks now. So as you can see, what I ended up doing was doing the cutoff here between the colors. What I didn't expect was it actually looked perfect until I put that clear paint on it to kind of gloss it up a little bit so it would more match the box, the original box, and it seemed to like kind of soak into the. It looks even worse on the camera than it does in person. You can almost see where it's overlapped, like under here up to here. You can see that line is where the original cardboard is, and then this part is the paper, and it's on the white cardboard, so it's a lot lighter. But this is going to be on the top of the box anyway, so you're really not even going to see it. It's just mostly for the integrity of the box. Now I've got the flap done here on the bottom, the new flap, and this part up here has been all redone. So we basically have an intact box now. I did iron it, it's fairly flat. Some of it just didn't want to flatten out very well. But now I do have a few more spots to repair on some of the splits like I showed you. And then all we have to do is re-glue this seam here, and we put it back together and we're done. Now, sometimes when boxes are crushed and you can't get them to flatten back out, usually it's when something was laid on top of it and it like kind of caves it in. What I found works well on that, believe it or not, is styrofoam. You know, you get like styrofoam packing and not talking about peanuts, I'm talking about actual blocks of styrofoam that you get like with, say, electronics or something, you know, or something where they put, you know, big pieces of styrofoam in the packaging. Sometimes I'll save those because they do come in handy, and what you can do is you cut them to fit inside the box, and they basically you know, solidify, put like a block of, but it's really light too, so that's what's good, is it doesn't weigh down the box. It's not like you're filling it with sand or something, or rocks. And I did that with a Amigo box that was like that. But I don't think this is going to need it because it seems like it's pretty good. The only thing I'm concerned about is the bottom flap here. It's a little curvy, so it might not want to sit flat, so I may have to do something with that. So now we just have to fix these last few split areas here, reinforce those. There's only a few, and then we'll glue this, and we'll use our big heavy wooden blocks to weigh it down, and we'll be back to assemble the box after that. Okay, so we're in our final point here. Our patches, well, they're not completely dry yet. They're only to reinforce some of those splits, so I'm not overly concerned about those. So we need to glue the last seam here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these two old comic book bags here to keep anything from gluing together while I while they sit. And ran out of the other glue, so I got some Gorilla Glue to finish the job. So put that on. I don't think we need to really smear that around. So we'll just take the flap, fold it over, now we'll take our big old heavy pieces of wood here, put them on here. Let that sit for a few hours. And we'll come back and see if we can make this look like a box again. Alright, so here you're looking at the finished box. It was just a matter of folding in the flaps. I think it looks pretty good. I did have one little issue with it, like right up here. Didn't seem to fit quite right where I repaired it. Wants to kind of stick out. Plus that's the part where I kind of doubled up the thickness of the cardboard. So, you know, I mean, but my intention was not to, you know, put this in the Smithsonian Institution. I'm not trying to fix up the Mona Lisa here. I was just trying to save this from going in the trash. And I think to that end I have achieved my objective, and it's good enough to put on display now, and saved it from the landfill. So I didn't fill it with anything. That's why I've kind of got it clipped down there so it doesn't tip over. It's because it's very light. There's nothing in it. And so I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you found it entertaining and informative. And thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more great videos.